Hello everyone, welcome. This is take, I don't know how many take. I don't know, but we're all here for one reason, and that's this weird ass guitar. What is this thing? Um, so before I completely tell you what this is, which, it's already in the video description, you know what it is. You probably search for this model, or just vintage Ibanez guitars in general. I already kind of gave it away. It's an Ibanez 884. Um, it's really weird, and I want to talk about it today, so that's why I'm kind of making this video. So, first of all, I'll tell you kind of how I got it. If you're not interested in that, then skip ahead. I'll talk about the little history of this guitar and my kind of search for this and how all that went down. Then I'll talk about the specifics of the body and all the weird quirks this thing has. And yeah, it's kind of, I'll put a timestamp somewhere. You can click it in the description or it'll show up. I don't know. You'll probably find it. So how did I stumble across this? Because this is not your everyday guitar find, your everyday reverb find, or anything you might get it at. So the story goes as following. I'm taking a little gap year right now. I'm just working full time. And I was like, I have money on my hands that I need to get rid of because money needs to roll. I don't know if that's an English thing you say, but anyway, um, yeah. So I was just looking. I was in the market to buy a jazz master. Because everyone at school has a jazz master. All the cool people have jazz masters, right? You know what I say? Um, so I was just looking at jazz masters on kind of everywhere on Reverb. We have a Dutch app called Marktplaats, which translates to marketplace. There's also a lot of music gear floating around on there as well. So yeah, I was just looking around a lot and finding stuff. And I found some really good jazz masters and stuff, and they were nice, but they were expensive. And then I came across this little thing. Which my first thought was, oh, it's a Jazzmaster, because it has the offset body. If you don't know what that is, this is kind of the shape a Jazzmaster guitar has. Um, you know, um, but yeah, so I was like, oh, this is Jazzmaster. Then I looked further into it, and I was like, this is not a Jazzmaster, because the headstock is weird, because it is really weird. Look at this, it's got a fucking bar. I'll talk more about that later. But so I was like, this is kind of a weird little thing. It was like Sunday night at like 11 p.m. or something. So I was kind of tired. I wasn't really looking. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was looking at it for like 15 minutes, like this one advert for this weird little guitar. Because this was, believe it or not, this was quite cheap. This was, he offered it for like 350 euros, which I don't know. I was like, if this is really a vintage Ibanez, that doesn't seem too expensive. Um, but I was really intrigued by this guitar, and I went to work the next day, and I was kind of looking around, and I was just, I was just in awe, kind of like, what is this thing? I literally pulled up my phone during lunch break, and I was like looking at it for like another 5 minutes, like this is such a weird guitar, and I was like, I wanted to buy a Jazz Master. I was like, I might as well just DM or message this guy, like, hey, is it still available? Because in the effort it said he was kind of in a hurry to sell everything because he was moving to the Czech Republic. Question marks. I was like, alright, it's kind of shady, but I'll kind of, I might as well message him because why not? So I messaged him. I went there, and I went home, and I went to guitar lesson. I take guitar lessons. And I went there and I showed my guitar teacher this advert of this guitar, and he was like, "That's a really weird guitar. It's a super weird guitar." I'm back. Oh, we're so back. I thought my brother was dying. That's why I kind of went away there. Doesn't matter. Where was I? Yeah. So I was showing him this, and he was like, "This is such a weird little find. How did you find this?" I was like, "I don't know. I was just scrolling around. I was just scrolling around the app." And I was like, what? I messaged him today, and I can come check it tomorrow. And he was like, "Yeah, you should be wary. He was like, this might be counterfeit and stuff, and might not be like might play really shitty because it said in the advert it was restored to a playable state." and he's like, playable can mean anything. Like, there are strings on it, so it works. It actually plays really nicely. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll be wary. I'll go there. I'll take my mind there and stuff. So I went there, which was cool. The day after, my dad drove me there. We went there together. I took a bit of convincing, but my dad was like, all right, I'll go with you. It's fine. Which is really cool. Love you, Dad. Anyway, I say anyways a lot. I think I really like talking a lot instead of getting to the point. I'm sorry, I'll get to the point. What matters is we went up there to this like vacation, like bungalow park kind of thing. It was really shady and dark, and it was not illuminated well at all. It was super dark everywhere, which was weird. But it was cool also, kind of. And he was lived like at the end of the road, like the end of the road. And he lived in a little bungalow, and we were kind of talking to him, and he had this guitar for like 5 years or something. But the original story of this guitar is quite cool, which I'll get into now, kind of. So the history of this specific model, because it's not the line of model, but this specific guitar that I have, it was bought in probably 62 or 63. Depends on when it got sold, but it was made in 62. Someone bought this new as to play on. It was this guitar. It went through a lot of gigs. You can see kind of on the finish, it's super rough. It's got a lot of dots and dents and spots and stuff. I don't know. But this thing has seen things, probably. I don't know. I don't know the history of this, because it's a super, weird little guitar. Anyway, we then that guy that played on this for years, he got drafted into war, because that's what America likes to do, apparently. I don't know. Anyway, what this meant is that he had to store this guitar somewhere, and he apparently went to some guy he knew, or like a friend. I don't really remember, and I can't ask again, because I don't have that guy's contact details. But anyway, so he stored this at someone's attic and to pick it up after the war, But he never came to pick it up. It was there for like 25, 30 years or something, like a super long time. And then someone bought it off the guy that owned that attic, apparently. I think it was just an attic sale, and this got sold. But the guy was like, that's a super weird guitar. So he bought it, and he then sold it to the guy I bought it from, who was just kind of a guitar trader, kind of. Like, that's how he started to make money, was just fixing up guitars and trading them, which, honestly, that's pretty cool, flipping guitars. I mean, it's kind of scummy, but, it earns, apparently, and it's kind of a cool job. Anyway, enough about that. So this is how I got to the Netherlands, where I live, kind of, right now. Probably for the rest of my life, but that doesn't matter. Netherlands. Anyway, oh sorry. Then so we kind of negotiated stuff, and you know how I said it was 350 euros. I managed to get it for 260, including bag, and a lot of cables, a lot of patch cables. I got so many patch cables off that guy, because he was just trying to get rid of stuff, because he had his storage everywhere. He didn't want to rent another garage box to store all his shit in when he was moving to Romania or the Czech Republic or wherever he moved to. I don't know. So he was like, yeah, here you go, which was really cool. Thanks. I don't know his name anymore, but thanks. So then I went home with this new find that I had. I was really intrigued, because I was going there, and this before I said to my mom, I'm probably not gonna buy it, I'm not probably not gonna buy it, So it's not like a jazz master. I want a jazz master. So I'm not gonna buy this. And then I went home, and my mom was like, and you bought it, right? I was like, yeah, I bought it, yeah. So that was, she kind of expected it. Doesn't really matter. So I got home, and I had already kind of researched this model online, and I couldn't really find anything on it. So I looked on it for YouTube. I couldn't find any YouTube videos mentioning this specific model, the 884. So I was like, well, why, you know? So I looked a bit more into it. I talked to, I know a few people online that really know guitars and stuff. So I DM'd someone. I was like, hey, or I messaged someone, I think, like, hey, do you know anything about this? And he's like, I've got a friend who knows vintage stuff, like also weird vintage stuff. And he messaged them, and what kind of came back is I'll actually read it to you. Okay, so I was trying to read that and record at the same time. My phone doesn't like it, so it's whatever. But what I can tell you about it is that at the time it was a lot less of a streamlined process when building guitars. So manufacturers were really working together to just build guitars, and they didn't really have any set rules, so they were just kind of free to do whatever they wanted, which, you know, leads to the creation of stuff like this, which, you know, isn't officially documented. It's not in any official catalogs, especially not this model, the offset model, which probably just, they were kind of like, let's make an offset, and everyone was like, yeah, hell yeah. So they made one, but it's not listed anywhere. So that's why it's really, I couldn't find any info on this at all, so I thought it was fake. But it's not, it's a genuine real Ibanez. Another thing that makes it really difficult to identify these is the fact that they didn't work with serial numbers up until 17, up until, almost broke my guitar there, almost up until 1970 something. Sorry for doing that wrong. I think 78 or 76 or something like that. I don't really remember. I'm not bothered to look it up at all. But they didn't do serial numbers up until like rather like late into the company's production lifespan. Looking at it from that perspective, so you can't really track these. But I'm willing to. The guys seem genuine that I bought this off and stuff. So it's cool. It's vintage Ibanez. So what else do I don't really know. So I just recorded a part and it kind of cut out really weird, and I don't really remember what I did and didn't tell on that part. One thing that is for sure is I emailed Ibanez about their vintage guitars, because there's hardly anything on it on their official website, no support or anything, which makes sense. You know, nobody that bought these when they were new is still alive, but that doesn't matter, or probably not anyway. But they didn't reply. They probably hate their customers. I don't know, which is a shame. I also did find the model of my other Ibanez guitar on there, which is cool. I didn't know it had a model or serial number. I mean, it made sense that it did, but I didn't know it. Right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is if someone from Ibanez is seeing this for some reason, just tell us something about this, please, because I want to know, and I have a friend who also wants to know. Kind of, I hope so. I at least want to know. Also, I don't know if I already said that in the previous part, because again, I've kind of dementia. I don't really remember, but there's nothing really of this online at all. Nothing on YouTube as well. So that's kind of why I'm making this video, to show you all the joy of an Ibanez guitar, or a vintage Ibanez guitar, especially the 884. Yeah, I said that right. I don't really know my numbers, so I struggle with that sometimes. That's okay. What matters here is now we're gonna get into the fun part. We're gonna talk about the actual guitar itself, and I'll stop talking as much. I'll show you more of the guitar. This is what you often do if you probably skipped the previous part. Doesn't matter. What does matter is this guitar is really weird. I'll make like a. I think you can kind of see. I don't know if you can really hear me if I do this, but you can definitely see the guitar now. It's really cool. You can see, first of all, what I noticed when I picked this up for the first time is really thin. This is a thin guitar. The neck is super thin. Now I also have big hands, but it's also super thin. This is like, I don't know if I have any objects. Okay, so let's just I have a capo here. Kind of like the normal size. You know, everyone has a capo. Everyone knows the size of a capo. This is kind of how, it's not even, like, it's super weird. It's like, almost not even thicker than like this part of the capo, like, you know, between this. And that's not really a good measurement, but this is probably, let's say, about like 5 centimeters or something. That's in inches. I don't know. I don't use shitty units. Sorry. But yeah, it's 5 centimeters. Probably around that or something. What else? The neck is really bolted on, and I'm not saying this in like, oh, it fits in really well. It's genuinely just bolted on. Like, this is nuts. This height, you don't see that ever. If a modern guitar, if Ibanez would do this nowadays, people would be like, your guitar sucks. But this is just how they did it at Ibanez, and it worked, you know, it kind of works. So if it works, it works, you know, it's fine. And another question you might ask, so if this isn't in any catalog or something or any booklet from that age, why do you know it's from 62? We know that because of the neck, and it's quite interesting, because, you know, every guitar neck, you know, every modern one at least has a dot at the 3. This one doesn't. I'm pretty sure that was common back in the day. It didn't, but whatever. You have one at the 3, one at the 5, one at the 7, the 7, not the 6, but the 7, and one at the 9. This is the 9, but there's no dot there. There's always a dot on the 9. Also at the 62 models, and in the catalog models, there's a dot on the 9. But it's on the 10. There's a dot on the 10. This is a production error they made in 62. This is actually documented, because everyone that has a vintage Ibanez from 1962 has this, or most have this anyway. If you have a neck like this, it's made in 62, period, because this is the only year Ibanez made this production error. At least that's what some guy online told me, and I'm willing to believe him. So this is the truth now. Anyways, but it probably, you know, it's from that age for sure. So 62 is the best guess we have because of the neck. What else is weird? Well, for me, what's weird is the huge neck. Like, this is actually a huge neck. It probably doesn't show really well in video, but just like grab like a Fender neck or something, and it's about like this size. Like a Fender neck would be about this size. It's genuinely just huge. It's really fucking big. Now look at this. This is the vintage Ibanez logo. I didn't know they had. I mean, obviously they had a logo, but like I didn't know the vintage logo it looked like. You have a string guard here, which is really weird. I don't know. I've never seen a string guard kind of like as like a bar, but it's kind of cool. I don't know if you can see it really. Oh, you can see it really well. But yeah, it holds all the strings in place. You can actually unscrew it from the bottom with these two, which is weird, but I mean it makes sense if you want to because you need to get rid of it if you want to restring your guitar. So it makes sense. But still, what else is weird about the neck is you have another fret here. This is fret 1. This is just loose space. This is apparently also common back in the day. But you know, I mean, I'm used to modern guitars. I'm used to Stratocaster. Strats are really different than this, obviously, because I had a Strat before this and like another modern Ibanez, which is just a Strat copy, like every good guitar. Joking. But you know, so yeah, it's a bit of a weird neck already, and then the body itself. There's a lot of stuff going on here. You've got 4. Oh, I keep demolishing my guitar, man. I need to be more careful. Actually, I'll lean it on my desk. I'm gonna reposition my camera a little bit. I hope you can still hear me properly. But yeah, so it's weird. It's really weird. Okay, it keeps cutting out because my phone's overheating apparently, and I can't record when my phone's overheated, which makes a lot of sense, but doesn't matter. The body. We were at the body. Sorry for the weird cuts all the time. Doesn't matter. What matters is this is a weird little body. So the first thing you'll notice is 4 pickups. I don't know if I already said that, but 4 separate single coil pickups, which you can combine into a humbucking thing, kind of. Not really, but it kind of works as a humbucker. It definitely sounds like a humbucker. I'll do like a sound test probably in a different video because it's already way too long. I'll link that in the description with a link somewhere. Once I make that, I'll make that like probably not now, but at some point in the future I'll link it. But yeah, you can kind of, these are really weird little switches. I'll try and hold it a little bit better. But these switches are super cool because you can just turn each one on and off individually, kind of like you would on a Jaguar. Although, you know, Jaguar has like the little flick flacks. These are just weird knobs, and they're not clicky. I thought these would be clicky when I saw the pictures, but they're super smooth. Yeah, sorry, that was a bit of an awkward silence, but I just wanted to show how smooth they went, kind of. So you can turn them all on and off. The sounds kind of speak for themselves. This is the good sound, this is the shitty sound. That's how I think, sorry, I'm joking. But yeah, it's really cool. I've tried all the pickups. These one are definitely louder. I think that's just this model. And that these are not at the same height, kind of. Or these are demagnetized a little bit. I mean, it's like this thing is 61 years old, approximately, or 62 almost, at this point in time, 2024. So you can imagine the magnets in the pickups kind of, maybe, I don't really know how that works, but this is a rough guess that I made. I was like, this would make sense. I don't know if that's the case, but it would make sense if that's the case. Also, the strings are old. I should replace them. Anyway, the knobs are kind of as follows. You have a volume, and a tone. This one's kind of broken off. I don't know if you, yeah, you can kind of see it now when I turn it. This one's kind of broken, but it's original. It's an original knob. So, you know, it's whatever. It's not in a mint state. Never has been, but it's fine. You've got, obviously, your output here, which I kind of like that. On the body, it's kind of clean. Then the last part I wanted to kind of talk about here was the tremolo system, because this is a vintage tremolo system. As the entire guitar is vintage. Okay, anyway, makes sense that it is also vintage. There's supposed to be a chrome cap over this, by the way. I also got that with this guitar, but I took it off because you can't palm mute, and I like to palm mute a little bit. So, okay, my phone overheated again, but I was trying to say I took it off because I like to palm mute. That's all I was trying to say. So the tremolo arm, what's weird about this, it doesn't bend down, it bends up. You can kind of, I don't know if I can really, that's not supposed to, that's supposed to happen with this model, but not with every, like the Fender guitars always, they go down instead of up. I'm so good with sound effects. But anyway, that's what makes it kind of weird. My friend theorized that these were put in the wrong way, because as you can, I'll try and move it a little bit. So as you can see, they're kind of, it looks like they're wrong. I think they're installed correctly. This was done by a luthier, so I would assume he knows what he's doing. But I kind of get his guess that it was placed wrong. But yeah, that's kind of this guitar. Also, I don't know if I already showed it in this video. I think I showed like 2 or 3 of these, and I don't really remember what I did in detail. The way it was why it was so cheap was because the neck is completely broken. It has been broken once. It's fixed now, and it works perfectly fine. I don't know if you can really see it, but like you can kind of see the crack here, kind of like there. I think you can kind of see it. Okay, so for now my phone is just refusing to cooperate. It keeps overheating, so I'm gonna cut it a little short here. Oh, it's moving as well. That's super cool. Anyways, as you could see, there was a little crack there in the Ibanez. That's probably why it was a little bit cheaper. It's just, it keeps moving. It just keeps moving. It's whatever. This video is falling apart, just like my phone apparently. It's about to blow up, I think. But I'll look back at the footage later. I'll add anything if there's anything missing. But there will maybe be a transition here. Maybe not, if I told everything already. If there's no weird transition thing happening right now, then I would like to say to you, thanks for sticking around and listening to me talk a lot, which, I mean, I never do this. This is the first time I ever do something like this. I hope you'll like it. The first tip you'll probably give me is to get a proper mic. I know, I'm working on it. But this is whatever for now. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some cool info out of it about the Ibanez 884 and just older Ibanez guitars in general. I'm gonna take it to a luthier and to the Fellowship of Guitars, I think is what it's called. Don't shoot me if I got it wrong, but there's some really cool guitar store in the Netherlands that I apparently should go to with this guitar because they know a lot about vintage guitars. So there's probably going to be a part 2 video about the Ibanez 884 after I'm going to fix it up, do something to it, because I definitely want to, because it's playable right now. There's a little bit of some flaws. It doesn't play super well all the time, so I want to get it in a really good state, play it, gig with it, whatever. But yeah, that's about it for now about the Ibanez. Maybe there's a second part, maybe there's not. But yeah, we'll see. I hope there's probably gonna be a second part about this guitar. But that's just all for now. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.